What if I told you that one of the most iconic action stars in history had a sibling who actually topped the music charts in the 80s? It's not a joke, this is real, and it raises such an interesting question about legacy, family, and how talent can take wildly different paths. Sylvester Stallone isn't just a movie legend, he's part of a family where creativity runs deep, but only some chose to chase the spotlight. Let me break this down because it's not just about who's famous, it's about how different people define success in their own way. Take Frank Stallone Jr., Sylvester's brother. He didn't just write songs for Rocky III, he actually cracked the Billboard Hot 100 with Far From Over. That's wild when you think about it. Here's a guy who's not only working alongside his brother in movies, but also carving out a music career that got serious recognition. Personally, I think it's fascinating how he managed to balance both worlds. It's like being in a family where everyone's got a different superpower, but only some choose to wield theirs in front of the world. What makes this really interesting is how Frank's success in music feels almost like a parallel universe to Sylvester's film empire. Did they ever collaborate creatively? I mean, imagine a Rocky soundtrack with a Stallone Brothers song, it would have been iconic. Then there's Toni Ann, Sylvester's half-sister. She was an actress too, but her story feels more tragic. She had a career, married twice, had a kid, and then passed away from lung cancer. It makes you wonder, what if she'd pursued a different path? Or what if she'd had more support? I think a lot of people don't realize how many siblings in celebrity families end up in the shadows, not because they're less talented, but because the spotlight is such a heavy burden. It's not just about fame, it's about the pressure to keep up with a family name. And yet, Toni Ann's story reminds us that even in the entertainment world, life can be unpredictable and unfair. Now, let's talk about the siblings who chose privacy over fame. Brian and Carla, Sylvester's half-siblings, have largely kept out of the public eye. That's a choice, and it's one I find really compelling. In an age where every family member of a celebrity is scrutinized, their decision to stay low-key feels almost rebellious. It makes me wonder, what's the cost of fame? If you're part of a family like the Stallones, do you even get a choice? Or is it just easier to fade into the background? I think there's something deeply human about wanting to live a normal life, even when your brother is a global icon. It's like being in a house where the lights are always on, and you're just trying to find a way to turn them off. And then there's Dante, Sylvester's youngest half-brother. Frank Jr. posted a photo of them on Instagram with a caption that's basically a love letter to family. But here's the thing, Dante's existence in the public eye is almost accidental. He's not a musician, an actor, or a public figure, he's just a guy who happens to be related to Sylvester Stallone. That's so telling, isn't it? It shows how much of our perception of family is shaped by media. Dante's not famous, but he's still part of this legacy. It makes me think about how we often reduce people to their connections rather than their individuality. What if we stopped seeing him as Sylvester Stallone's brother and just saw him as a person? This whole family dynamic makes me reflect on something bigger, the idea of legacy. Sylvester Stallone built a career on grit, determination, and a willingness to reinvent himself. But his siblings show that legacy isn't just about fame, it's about choices. Some chose to chase it, others to avoid it, and others to find their own version of success. What I find most intriguing is how this family's story mirrors so many others. It's not just about the famous person, it's about the people behind them, the ones who didn't get the spotlight but still shaped the narrative. So the next time you see Sylvester Stallone on screen, remember, he's not just an action hero. He's part of a family where talent, tragedy, and quiet strength coexist in ways that make the whole story far more interesting than any movie script.